Hi there. Welcome, welcome. My name is Trisha Broderick, and I founded Ignite Insight and Innovation. And I try to go live once a month, pretty much usually the first Friday of the month, but it can vary a little bit depending on my travel. And I always have a topic. Sometimes there are topics I want to rant about. Let's get real. Sometimes there are topics that people request. And then there's days like today, they're just topics I might need, I think. Um, there's been a lot going on between my son Connor's 20th anniversary of his passing, my friend DeRocher's passing 2 years unexpectedly is tomorrow's anniversary. At 3 AM, I found out somebody who opened doors that I have mad respect for is battling cancer, stage 4. And then there's just this onslaught of layoffs, and it feels like I open my LinkedIn or my email or my text and I get somebody else that's just been laid off or is struggling, and honestly, it's hard. It's hard across the board, it's hard across fears and stress, and here I am feeling, I mean, it's good. It's slower a little bit than a couple last years, but the reality is I almost have a little bit of guilt, and whether that guilt's somebody where I wasn't the person laid off, or my, home life is good or my work life is fulfilling or whatever it is, and you see somebody else struggling, I almost have a little like, oh, kind of feeling, and it's just been tiring. And I'm just gonna own it because I think part of that is realizing the pressure that I'm putting on myself or you can put on yourself when you're trying to help other people. And so this session is to kind of remind me a little bit of ways to help, reinforce the ways that I'm helping, and make sure I'm not telling myself a different narrative, and then also maybe coming up with some new ideas as I'm just talking, or if you've got something you put in comments, I'll take it as we're going along. So, ways to help when you feel and see so many people struggling, especially with layoffs. I mean, obviously, I talked about other even heavier elements, but like focused on people struggling to find work. What are things you can do and help? So the first thing I'm saying, and part of this is because of why I'm doing this, is you do have to take care of yourself. You can't help other people if you're exhausted, if you're tired, if you're wanting to break out in tears. Like it's not make it about you, Trisha Day, right? On the same note, you can't really do the things that you want to do for somebody else if you're at your low point, right? If you're in a place where you're going to collude, or if you're in a place where you're not being optimistic or hopeful or supportive. And so that first tip is just take the day. Like, I'm not going to do anything else today. I'm going to shut this computer down after this and just disconnect and head into the weekend. It's sunny today. I wore yellow, although this is yellow, but it looks like it's green coming through the screen. Whatever. I'm going to enjoy the sun a little bit because I am tired of the snow. And if you're in the Northeast right now, between the earthquake today, apparently for New Jersey, New York, and the snow, again, I'm sorry. I get it. I feel it. It's been a long winter. And even though it's technically spring now, it still feels like winter. So, first thing, just make sure you're still taking care of yourself. It's hard to support others and help others if you're not in a place mentally or physically to help. Second tip, I confession, I don't read LinkedIn a ton. I don't always have the time. I try. I like to. I see certain posts. I try and engage as best I can, but it's just a lot of information, and I'm not always the best on social media in general. So I have been upping my scanning of my LinkedIn feed, and what I'm looking for most is position postings. whether I'm first connection or second connection, anything that's coming up in my feed as a, hey, we're hiring, I'm trying to repost that. I don't know how many people also looked at the LinkedIn feeds versus just search jobs, but I do the reposting a little bit for a couple things. One, there are a lot of jobs out there, and I know it's overwhelming, and I know that there's a lot of people applying for the same jobs, and it's frustrating. But I've also seen a time when there were just no listings whatsoever. And so I'm reposting them. In addition, I'm reposting them because if I am a first connection, it's a posting you are interested in. I'll make a connection. I don't always know all of my first connections because I speak, because I've written a book with Diana. Sometimes I get a lot of connections of people I don't personally know that I accept on LinkedIn, but I'll still make the connection. Clearly, they connected to me because they liked what I had to say, or at least I didn't piss them off. Yet. So I'm happy to make those connections. So if you see a posting and I don't even repost it, but you see I have somebody in connection, please reach out to me, message me. I'm happy to make those connections as best as I can uh, with that. So I'm trying to increase my LinkedIn usage to amplify, I guess is the word I'm looking for, those options out there for people. 3, give recommendations, give referrals, write references. Now, you have to ask me just so that I know. Like, don't list my name if I don't know what company, what roles you're looking for, because if and when they contact me, and if I don't have any information, I'm not going to do a great job at, being a good referral for you. So ask me, talk to me. If we've worked together, chances are I'm giving you a referral. I'm going to give you that recommendation, but I need a little bit of information to be able to do that. But go for it. Ask, especially if I have a connection in common with where you're looking, I'm happy to make those introductions and to leverage any kind of good favor or connection that I have with them. I don't know what number I'm on. Whatever. I didn't number these. It's fine. I've been trying to also give a little bit of work where I can. Like I think I mentioned a minute ago, it is a little bit slower for me too this year. So I haven't been able to do this as much, but I've been doing this since 2020 and it's nothing major. Look, I'm not trying to say it to toot any horns or anything along those lines. I'm saying it because two things. One, if I'm running a class, I try and bring in somebody that I'll call like a producer and they help me with Zoom or they help with the breakouts. Sometimes they help with the material if they're known. And I've been doing this and I try to rotate across different people. One, it helps me to just give somebody a little bit of money. I'm not able to pay a huge amount of money for it, but I can do something. But two, it's also a way to just connect, feel, and give somebody a sense of like, oh, I'm doing something. I'm contributing and I'm engaged. Plus, it keeps me company. I always clearly like engaging with people and talking with people. So I know it can be a little scary, especially if you're low on work or lower on work. But generally, I have found that I don't notice that when I just accounting for it at the beginning, and it's just a way to pay it forward, help other out, out, and then hopefully that comes back in different ways at different times. And even if it doesn't, it already came back in terms of me helping somebody, and I feel better about that. Hopefully, they feel better, and it's just something I can do. I wish I could do it even more and in different ways, but it's a little bit of work. And so if you're thinking about rewriting your marketing, or if you're thinking about helping to write an article and you need an editor, consider trying to hire somebody a little bit. Maybe that's not what they would do normally, but it's just some work that you need done that helps you, that you're able to do for somebody else and whatnot. Next one that I would say, next tip, I don't know what numbers. We're just gonna throw numbers out the window. Is getting involved. I'm finding myself just trying to be more active, especially like in Agile Denver, uh, and really helping with the event and things along those lines because there's sometimes a narrative I'll start telling myself I can't help. I can't help enough. What I'm doing is not helpful. And so by actually being in service, by actually helping people, by actually responding to questions or doing sponsorships. By the way, if you would like to sponsor Agile Denver, please let me know. But doing all of those things, it helps to make sure that I don't start telling myself a narrative in my head that I can't help people, that I can't help enough, that why bother? And I know that sounds ridiculous. And when I say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous, but it is something that at least I go through, I think about, I start beating myself up about is am I helping enough or is this help even worth it? And so by getting involved and volunteering and it it sometimes feels like it opens the doors to wanting to help even more and that pressure to help even more is like, "Oh, are we going to sell all the tickets for Agile Denver or not?" And stress about that. But at the end of the day, I'm working with amazing people. I'm getting to have new collaborations with people I haven't gotten before. I'm spotting little opportunities for connections and support and opportunities to speak. So I'm actually going to start looking for more areas to get involved, more ways to give back, more ways to just be in service, to try and help. I know the Women in Agile program is always looking for volunteers. I know Agile Alliance looks for volunteers for things, and it's something that you never know who you're going to meet or what's going to happen or what opportunities are going to be there and I may be able to connect. I was able to do that recently where somebody reached out to me saying, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody who could do that." And I was like, "Oh, here's that." And I could make those connections. So, but if I'm not involved, I don't know about those opportunities. And so it's such a little thing on my part, but such a huge potential for everybody with those things. Then there's the obvious yet sometimes really hard one tip for help. Just listen. That's it. Maybe just send a virtual hug or a I'm here or when you want to vent, let me know. When you want to scream, I'll scream with you. When you want to cry, I'm really good at that. and and just being there. I think we think of help so often as action and we think of help as tangible in terms of an outcome of making their pain go away or lessen it, but the lesson part can just be being present, being a support, being a good listener to somebody, and I do love me my check marks. I do love trying to help in a way that feels super productive, but I know the value of just having somebody not try to fix your problem and just listen. And I'm probably not doing as much of that as I should be. And I think part of that is because of the pure volume. And so I'm in like action mode, but it is something that I'm really going to need, especially as I'm starting to feel myself draining a little bit, is to how do I increase just being present and listening and supporting in ways that make somebody feel seen, heard, understood, not alone. And that is help. And that is incredibly helpful for somebody in the moment. Maybe even more so than having somebody go, it will be fine. It will all work out. Because when you're in that moment, that's like telling somebody, calm down. Look, if someone just had lost their financial means, they're stressed, they're freaking out. I'm sure things will work out. They almost always do. It may be rocky, it may be hard, but people figure it out. I still don't want to hear that in the moment, right? I just want somebody to listen and to be present with me. So that is an area that I'm going to be focused on, kind of increasing and looking at and doing as going forward. But I'm always looking for more suggestions or things that might be helpful. If you are doing something, please let me know. Put in the comments, send me a message. If you have asked, you do not have to put it in the comments, but if there's something more that could be helping you specifically, let me know. Um, as we're going forward, we're all traveling this together in different ways, and at times, I do question humanity as of the last several years. But this is when I get hope for humanity back, is when people are struggling and watching people come together to support, watching people express their gratitude and appreciation, because you don't know if you get tomorrow. So keep finding ways to help, but make sure you're also taking care of yourself as well. With that, I'm not pitching anything this go round. Maybe, well, I guess I pitched Agile Denver's May event, but uh, I have classes out there. You can look at them. You can check them out. I will be back the first Friday of May. And until then, next time.